Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to talk to you about the 3 ways to improve banner reporting by using Millennium's Fast Reporting Suite. My name is Peter Brunzell, and I'll be starting off the presentation today. And I'm going to be joined a little bit later with Rob McMicken, and he's going to actually jump into our application from time to time and show you a few key examples of what we want you guys to see. And our contact information is on the slide there. If you have questions that you want to ask us directly after the presentation, feel free to email either one of us. All right, so who is Millennium? Millennium is a software company that has been around since the mid-1990s. We have developed the Fast Application Suite, which has been designed specifically for higher education. We are based in Victoria, which is just north of Seattle. And we have clients all across North America and just Australia as well. Okay, let's start off today by talking about what's important in a reporting solution for Banner. We believe that timely and accurate access to data is essential. Based on our experiences in dealing solely with higher education, we realize that everyone needs timely access to their data. The data not only needs to be accessible on demand, but it needs to come from a trustworthy source. Recent trends in finance reporting we have seen the need to have up-to-date information regarding budget versus actual, but also the ability to create forecast information. This is great information to have for your finance people, but if it's going to be useful, it has to be accurate and it has to be available on demand to all of your end users. And for this to be the case, we have to have a clean, easy-to-use interface for them not only to be able to view their budget information and actual information, but for them to actually be able to key in that forecast information. That forecast information needs to be created by your end users, and if it's not presented to them in a clean, easy-to-use way, you're not going to get it in a timely basis, if at all. From an HR perspective, HR needs an easy way to track employment trends and access payroll reports across your entire organization. This also needs to be done in an easy-to-use format so that it can be easily disseminated throughout your entire organization and be accessible by those users out in the departments who are actually managing the human resources. From the student side, we've seen a lot of trends lately in not only what's going on with recruitment, but as well as with student retention. Schools have spent a tremendous amount of resources in recruiting students to come to their organization, but it's becoming more and more relevant of how many of those students are staying after they arrive. These are just a couple of examples of what we see as the key trends in higher education with Banner reporting. So the problem is not having the data. Banner collects a tremendous amount of data, but it quite often can feel like a big black box to some. This can lead to an unwillingness for some to use the system to its full extent, as they're just not seeing the payoff for all of that data collection. Data can get pulled at different times in the shadow system, making it very difficult to compare with other data sets. Dumps to Excel may not get updated as often as people would like. This leads to decisions being made on dated and static information. Shadow systems are another widely used tool that we see, but this raises questions with how did System A pull its data as compared to System B, making it very difficult for people to compare different answers. Some systems provide direct access to your data, but the cost of using them makes it prohibitive to open it up to everyone, thus making the solution less than desirable for all of those involved. The problem is delivering meaningful insight. Having limited access to reporting systems typically leads to only a few people having access to them, or they need tool experts to be able to build a new report request. This often leads to long lead times for reports, and sometimes with the report arriving long after the question has been forgotten. It also limits insight that can come when people are free to explore their data, get comfortable with it, and start asking what-if questions. Banner has limited ability to compare data from one time period to another. this can cause problems when wanting to do simple things like a quarterly trend analysis or year-over-year reporting. Even when this time-sensitive data is collected, it can be cumbersome to work with and share with others. So what does FAST do? FAST is an easy-to-understand reporting tool that makes working with Banner, in a way that people can use and collaborate. FAST web-based interface is non-intimidating, user-friendly way for people to get access to up-to-date data in a controlled environment. We're able to duplicate security that's already set up in Banner and augment that with security in FAST. We provide you a quick way to hit the ground running with a robust setup of pre-built content which you can use or customize it to fit your organization. By this, you can augment with reports. You can build your own reports when the need arises. We will take care of the installation, the maintenance, and all you need to do is use the system. We provide a pre-built warehouse and data mapping from your Banner tables, pre-built content that lays on top of these pre-built warehouses. They become available as soon as the warehouses are populated. Everything you're going to see in the next few slides comes pre-delivered with the system. It doesn't have to be built with the use of consultants or any other IT staff after the system has been implemented. So the 3 ways to improve Banner reporting with FAST is that we provide a pre-built proven solution. We have seamless integration into Banner and an easy way to deliver that information to your end users. So what do I mean by pre-built proven solution? Every one of our reporting solutions comes with its own data warehouse with a pre-built interface to Banner. What this means is that all of the data that exists in your Banner tables currently, we have a mapping routine that will take the data out of those tables and push it into our data warehouse, making it very easy for our front end to use. We provide a preset suite of reports in each of our applications, and we also allow you to augment the reports in the same style. So I'm going to turn it over to Rob here and see if you can answer a quick question for me. Who is currently working? Rob, maybe you can show us how an end user would be able to figure out who is working in our organization and where they are getting charged.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Good day, everybody. We're going to do 3 little demos for you today about the 3 points that Pete brought up. So the first demo we're going to do is in our human resource reporting application. So now that I've logged in, we're actually going to go on the left-hand side down to our human resource reporting, click in there, and go into the main application of human resource reporting. So as Pete says, all this data is warehoused nightly and is ready for reporting. FAST is a roles-based system, so we can control who can have access to the human resource reporting, and then within that, who can actually have access to certain reports. Once we're on those reports, we can actually control who has access to which rows based on what we call our FAST HR reporting restricted roles and restricted records. And even further to that, we can actually say which columns they can see. So there's a lot of different pieces of the puzzle that we can get to be able to use one report for multiple people. So today, to answer Pete's question, who's working here, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to the job menu, and we're going to go to the one what we call current jobs with labor. So this is going to be all of the human resource records, all the job records out of Banner, and we're going to tie in the actual labor distribution to this. So when we come to this report, first thing we present to the user are what we call our filter options. So our filter options allow the user to take the data that's available to them on this report and further trim it down to be exactly what they're looking for. So these are fairly easy to use. First time you see them, they look a little overwhelming, but once you've used them once, they're really easy to use from there on in. So I'm going to search for employee classes. Now this data is automatically loaded out of Banner, so we don't have to do anything. It just shows up once the warehouse runs. So I'm going to pick 2 classes. Those 2 guys there. And then I could pick other codes if I wanted, or if that's all I want, I'm just going to say, yeah, let's run that report. So we're going to go out now and we're going to look at all of the jobs. We're going to combine all of the labor distribution with those jobs. And we're going to search it for the 2 employee classes in our demo data which is CH and CS. So you can see here we've got an actual report, which is fantastic. So that wasn't very hard, and that is basically as easy as it is to use fast out of the box. So we can look at this data. It's very tabular at this point. There's lots of different things we can do to this data, and in a couple of the other presentations, I'm going to show you how to aggregate this data, how to graph this data, how to schedule this data, etc. But for this quick little demo we're going to do is we're just going to say that there's a lot of things you can do on this one report to customize it, to get it to, maybe you're looking for a report for your manager. Things like you can hide columns, end date, that's empty in here, doesn't make sense maybe, so we can just say hide this column. So we'll click on that and it'll do it. Maybe we want a column in a different order now. So this one just draws. Maybe we want it to have the status over here. So we can just move that over here. So we can tailor this report exactly as we want as we go through it. Now we've got 273 records. What if we further wanted to restrict this report to maybe an org? Here's the focal information to the right. So the fund and the org and the account, activity location if you're using it. Maybe we want to further limit this to a specific org. So every column has the ability to sort the data, hide the data, or apply additional filters. So here we could say, okay, well, let's look for 5710, and we could add multiple filters if we wanted. In this case, we'll just apply a couple. And it is now going to take that data that we were, CH and CS, and now it's added our 5710. So really easily now, I've got right down to the answer I want. Who's working in these specific classes in this org? And also, where are they getting charged? What focal are they getting charged to? Are they getting charged under general operating? Are they getting charged to a research fund? Where are they getting charged? And there's a whole bunch of other information, obviously, on this page. Now, this is great. We've got this information, but what can an end user do with this information? An end user can actually take this and dump it to Excel and then do further things. Or they could dump it to PDF. Or they could actually contact people. So let's, first of all, drop this to Excel. So you just click on the Excel page. What will happen is it will go out, get all this information, fire up Excel, dump it down, and down here on the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that we click on it, and there we go, we have it in Excel, which is really a very useful thing for people to be able to then further manipulate and write reports or do whatever they need to do with it. I know that from being out in dozens and dozens of schools that everybody says once they can get their data in Excel, they feel much better about it. So that's how you can get it out to Excel. Now, using the system is really easy. We've got these filters. We've got a whole bunch of other pieces. Out of the box, everything is as you see. Now, if you wanted to change filters, we could just click on them, come back here, and maybe add something different. Maybe search for a specific person, or we could look for different employer codes, etc., and just rerun the report, and it will rerun it. Now, if an end user is new to the organization, how do they learn this? Well, we actually have on the left-hand side here a training tab. And the training tab has videos embedded in it and will show the users, either general, advanced, or administrative users, different ways to use our applications. So we're getting the data we want, and we're also showing people how to get that data. So really, in summary, these pre-built reports using the fast data warehouse and nightly data builds makes it easy for users to log in, navigate, and get the answers to the important questions they have without relying on others. It's quick, it's proven, and it's pre-built. So we make it even easier with our training programs and our training videos like I showed you here, and making sure everybody knows how to get what they want and when they want it. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Pete, and we'll carry on. And I will talk to you in another minute or two.
Thank you very much, Rob. So Rob showed us a quick presentation there of what the FAST interface looks like and how people can get access to that data. But you don't want everybody having access to everything that you have in Banner. We cover that off by using the security that you've already built in Banner, and that goes along with the seamless integration that our product provides with what you've already set up in your Banner application. So just from the login screen alone, we are able to log in with allowing users to use their Banner credentials, or if you have a single sign-on solution already on campus, we can use that. or if you're using a Luminous portal or some other type of portal, we can also use those to allow people to log into the FAST application. And then from there, based on things like fund org security that you've already may have set up in Banner Finance, the org security that you may be using in HR, we restrict which applications the users can see within FAST, and from the applications you can restrict which pages, and on those pages you can restrict which data that they're actually going to see on any of those pages. From a finance example, when people log in to FAST and go to a finance report, you may have hundreds of people accessing that same report, but each of them may get a bit of a different picture of the data that's been returned on the report based on the fund org security that has been allotted to them in the Banner application. You don't have to rebuild that in FAST. That'll be part of the finance data warehouse that is provided with you as part of the solution. Rob, maybe you can show everyone how do you report and have all users see a single report, but only the data that we want them to have access to.
We'll go back into our application here, and we'll go back to the home page. And this time we're actually going to use our finance reporting application as our demonstration. So we'll go into our finance reporting application. And our finance reporting application was actually our flagship product. Started about 1994, so it's been around a long time in many iterations, and has been built as like all of our applications with input from all of our different clients and schools. So when we say they're pre-built, we haven't just gone out and built something, we've built it in conjunction with dozens and dozens of schools over several decades. Okay, so what I am here is I'm logged in as a user that in finance would have master fund and master org access, which means I have access to all the data across the organization. Now, this is great for somebody in finance if they're doing reporting or building income statement lead sheets or looking at the organization overall. And when I first come into finance, you can see that we have a whole bunch of filters here. So first thing is we've got our fund and org. And as you know, as Banner users, the fund and the org have hierarchies to them. And we can report on or drill in through any of those hierarchies. As an example, if I click on the magnifying glass here, you will see that I have access to all of the different orgs out there within the organization as a user with master fund and master org. Click on the fund, you'll see I have access to, in our demo data, 10,000 we are general operating, but plus all of the other funds that are out there, the research funds, etc. In a minute, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out and I'm going to log back in as a restricted user and show you how this works. The first thing I'm going to do is show you as a power user. If we just pick a period here, and we keep any period online as far as your data goes back in Banner. So if you've got the 10 years worth of data, we can load up 10 years worth of data and you can see it on any month you want, which really allows you to do a lot of trending and analysis. Maybe not 10 years, but you know, a lot of people do 2, 3, 4 years of trending information. And that's all available to you. So I just run the first report, again, all out of the box. First time you've seen this, so we've got our funds, because that's how I've asked to see it. We've got all our funds, and we've got our actuals for the month that I selected. We've got our year-to-date actuals, any encumbrances that are outstanding. We've got our annual adjusted budget, which can come from our budget and forecasting application, or it can come out of the GL if you're doing something different. Some budget available, and whether that's favorable or unfavorable. Now, columns on reports in FAST can be customized, changed, added to, augmented, etc. We can actually add additional columns, or the users can add additional columns using something we call virtual columns. But if I just click on Fund 10,000 here, and just keep drilling down, you'll see I'm walking through the hierarchy. So I'm on Fund, and I'm actually on, above the fund here, you can see a 2. That's the second level of the hierarchy. And as I drill through, you see I'm drilling down on that specific fund, and it's showing me what level of the hierarchy it is. Now, obviously, the numbers are matching as I'm drilling down to the numbers ahead of it. So I've now got to the data entry level fund, which now the system says, all right, well, you're looking at it by fund and org, so now we're going to show you all of the orgs that are within that fund. I could actually change this sort to be anything I want. I could look at it by account and then activity if I want. or account, and then org, switch it backwards. So all of the focal elements can be sorted and sliced and diced in any of the orders you want. But I'll just keep drilling in here. Let's drill into 2010 here. Again, the numbers are obviously going to balance when we get in here. And I have privy to all the information. So here we are down at an operating statement. We've got our labor, we've got our benefits, expenditures, etc. Now we in FAST believe that every number that you see in the application needs to be supported with detail. Don't take our word for it. If you don't believe the number, continue to drill down. So I'll just show you that real quick here. So I have salaries. I could drill down on that. It's going to show me the details that make up that amount of money. There we go. And then even further now, we could actually pick a voucher number here and drill in on it and actually get the details of that voucher, see what makes up that $6,886, et cetera. So there's a lot of flexibility in the application. And so that's what a power user would see. Now that's great for power users, but let me log out for a minute. I'm going to log in as a user that we call test 3. Sometimes we're not very creative with our names, but here we go. So now I'm a different user. I have different applications. I still have finance. So when I go into finance now, same page, but you'll see now, like if I click on the fund selection, I've only got general operating. Now I might have a whole bunch under it. And all of this comes from what you set up for user access in Banner. You don't have to do any maintenance for this to work. We just integrate tightly with Banner and we go out and get that information on a daily basis. So if you've granted users access, if you've revoked users access, if users have changed departments, it all flows through here to the application. Same with the orgs as well. So I only have a limited amount of orgs, so now you can see that. If I don't pick anything, I can just hit enter. And you'll see that now my screen here is only fund 10,000. So maybe we want to drill in a bit on this, or we could even switch the view here and look at this by something different, maybe by org here, and then it will give it to you by each of the orgs I'm allowed to see, etc. So really useful because we have to write one report, we provide it to you, and then we provide that fund org security layer that establishes the data that you are allowed to see. I'm going to turn it back over to Pete now, and we'll go on to the bullet point number 3 we were talking about.
Great, thank you very much, Rob. So Rob covered off how we deal with the integration of security that you've already built into Banner into FAST, which makes the system very secure and very easy to maintain. But the last point we wanted to cover off was everything we covered off today so far is great and meaningful and very useful, but if the system isn't easy to use, it doesn't really matter one bit because nobody's going to use it. So with FAST, everybody can be a reporting hero. It provides an easy delivery mechanism for people to get access to the data on a timely manner, whether that's on demand or whether you're going to schedule reports to be delivered to their inbox. We can take care of multiple different ways of access to data from within the FAST application suite. We provide real-time access to the data when it's necessary, and when it's not, you can pull the information directly from a data warehouse, which is typically refreshed on a nightly basis. FAST provides an easy-to-use self-service access, so users can log in themselves, get access to the pre-built reports or any custom reports that you have built and delivered to them. We have the ability to create dashboards and graphs. People can maintain those themselves. You can pre-build them and deliver them to your end users. You can schedule these reports and graphs to be delivered to your end users on whatever time frame that you want, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. This information can be provided to them in a PDF or Excel format directly to their inbox. And our general rule of thumb is our pre-built content, based on our experience, delivers probably about 80% of what most of our clients need in a day-to-day reporting tool, leaving just that additional 20%, which is going to be specific to your organization, which we also provide you the development tools where you can go in and build your own queries or views and augment the data warehouse and build your own reports and deliver those to their end users in a format that looks going to look exactly like the pre-delivered content. So there's no learning curve there on how people access their information, whether it's from a pre-built report or a custom report. So I'm going to turn it back over to Rob and have him show you the different ways to distribute the information to an end user. So Rob, maybe you can take a dive into how I can create a report and have it just distributed in a variety of different ways to different users, maybe on a monthly basis. Maybe we can jump into student and take a look and see what students are enrolled by subject matter, and maybe show me what buildings those courses are being offered in as well.
Okay, thanks, Pete. Yeah, let's do that. So I've logged back in as our power user here, and I'm going to go down to our student reporting application this time. And once I've actually come in here, we can see all the different subject areas that we have pre-built reports for. I'm going to go today to course summary. The course summary is going to show us our enrollment numbers. First thing we need to do in the student world is pick a term. So we can pick a term and type it in if we want. We could search for a term if we want, or we can use these helper buttons here. We click on that, and we have some pre-built items that says things like, okay, well, yeah, current term, that's what I want. So I'm going to pick that. So that's going to give me the current term, no matter what term it is. So I don't have to really think as a faculty member. I can just say, no, I know I need current term. I don't remember what the actual codes were for it. But simple as that. Let's pick that. Again, our familiar filters. So if you've already learned how to use our HR side, our finance side, you're pretty familiar already with student. And we're going to run that. And what we're going to do here is several things. We've got our tabular data again. And all the same things are there, the PDF, the Excel, etc. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to what we see up here as advanced options. I'm going to take this tabular data, and I'm going to do a few things to it. I'm going to, first of all, aggregate it up into a report that makes sense to me. So I'm going to say, I want to get subject, and I know I want capacity, enrolled, and available, and I want to sum those. So I'm limited to my current term. Pick those, and just run this report. What it's going to do is going to give me a nice aggregated report now, which is fantastic. Again, I can dump that to Excel. Exactly what you see on the screen will come out to Excel. And really what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this another step further, and I'm going to graph it. So if we go to the Graph tab, it'll remember what we're doing here. And so if we were to pick maybe a side-by-side chart, we've tried to make graphing really easy. We haven't put a ton of super powerful, spend an hour and customize your graph kind of thing. What we've done is we've made it so end users can come in and say, here's my data, I need a graph, here's what I want it to look like, and voila, there it is. So let's put March graph, and our x-axis is going to be our subject, and our y-axes are going to be our capacity, our enrolled, and our available. So simple as that. I can hit create graph, and now what I've done is I've taken a very detailed report for current term, aggregated it by what I wanted, and then graphed it, which is great. Now, I haven't saved this, but what if I want to run this report every single day, especially maybe during registration? What I can do down on the bottom is instead of having to come back and do everything I just did, which was not really onerous, but still, we give you the ability to save it as what we call a pinned report. And a pinned report saves all the structure for everything I've just done into a report that you can then name. So let's call this my March report. And then I can make the decision of, do I want this to be part of a group? And what that means is, do I want to share it with people? So I'm going to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to share it with the student deans. So anybody in the student dean role is going to be able to actually see what I just did here. They can't modify it, but they can actually view this graph. And I'm going to say, let's put this graph on our dashboard. So if I do all of that and save it, what I'm doing is I'm saving all the structure. I'm not saving any data, but just structure. So if I were to leave fast, go for lunch, come back, so I've logged out, gone back to the home page here just for demonstration, go back into student reporting, I can go to this thing called pinned reports. This is where we're saving all of your reports. So it's going to be under here, sorry, There it is there at the bottom, My March Report. So I can actually click on it and run it. It's going to bring me to here, I can hit go, and it's going to bring me to that aggregated report and the graph and everything. So that's really useful to be able to save it. Now we're going to leave this pinned report for a second, and I'm just going to show you one other really cool piece of functionality. But I'm going to come back to this report in a minute, and we're actually going to schedule this report to go out to users on a monthly basis, and we're also going to use it to put it on the dashboard and update daily for all of the deans. But first, I just wanted to show you a cool little feature I love. If we go back to our advanced options, I'll keep my current term. The top here, we have the ability to cross-tab data. And I think cross-tabbing data is a really, really useful feature. If you're familiar with it in Excel or Access or something, then you know how useful it is. So I'm going to create headings by building here. So I just need to find it. There it is there. And I'm going to populate that with the enrolled numbers. And I'm going to get a sum. So this is going to tell us how many people are enrolled in each building. Maybe useful to you, maybe not. But it's from the demonstration purpose. Oh, I'm going to add one other thing here. I'm going to add subject, so we can actually see each subject down the left-hand side. So now I've done all this, I'm going to run this. And it's going to give me our subjects, our buildings, and our enrolled. So you can see where people are going to be and where your peak points are maybe. Maybe you might want to do this with a couple of other filters. You can just go back and add additional pieces to it. Again, you could save this as a pinned report. You could graph this. You could do all that great stuff, export it to Excel, etc. Okay, so let's go back now to our pinned report. And let's add that pinned report to our dashboard so that when all the student deans log in, they're going to actually see that report we just built. So really what we see in schools is people centrally like to build dashboards and then roll them out to different subject areas or different groups of people, deans or chairs or different areas. So we don't necessarily see all those end users creating the dashboards, but we see them being done centrally more. Although any end user can create their own graph, which is what's called private, and nobody else can see it. Okay, so what we do is we just say Manage Dashboard, pick which dashboard we want. We'll just use this one, that's fine. We'll find our graph, there it is at the bottom, and add it to it. And because it's such a great one, we're going to put it first. We're happy with that. We'll hit Display, and there's our dashboard. Now, when we granted the dean's role, we put it on this dashboard. This dashboard has also been granted to the dean role as well. So when a dean now logs in, they will see this as a dashboard. Now we could have moved it around a bit and changed the size and things like that. But the great thing about our dashboards are they are interactive. So if a dean came in and said, chemistry, why is that like that? I didn't think so. If he clicks on it, they'll actually take him and show him the details. Because remember before I said we always like to prove every single number. So it's going to show you the details of all of those items. And then he can see, okay, well now I understand why it's doing what it's doing and why the answer to that question is as such it is. So that's our dashboard, and we took the keep it simple approach to dashboarding because we think that getting information out to people shouldn't be a 5-day process. It should be something either you guys can do really quickly or they can actually do on demand. So one last thing I'm going to show you, then I'll turn it back to Pete. I'm going to show you how you can actually schedule that to actually be emailed out to people. So we know it's great to have self-service and people can come in on demand and see their data, get reports, etc. But we also know the reality is some people don't log in and do this. So we need to actually provide a mechanism for them to actually get their data, whether they really like it or not sometimes. So we're going to email it to them. At least they can't say we didn't provide it to them. So what we can do is here is we can go to our report scheduler calendar. We can see all the items that are scheduled. Right now, we only have one thing scheduled. But we could just say, all right, we're going to have a report, and we're going to call it My March Report again. And we're going to send it to all of the student deans. And we're going to send our My March Report, the one we created. That's my pinned report now. And we could view the list of all the people it's going to go to. We could run the report. if we wanted to just make sure it was accurate and it was going to be the right one. Now, when you're doing this, we're going to apply all the regular fund org security, student security, HR security, whatever the application is and whatever the security model you guys are using, we're going to apply it to this report. So if this was a finance report and it was going to 20 people, we're going to run the report 20 times with that person's ID and limit the data that is on the PDF to that person's specific security profile. So even though we're scheduling this once with one report, it's going to look different for every single person. So that's a really important thing. We're not just blasting out all the data to everybody each time. It is customized for each person every time. So we could say how often. Maybe we want to do this monthly, and maybe on the we'll do it on the 17th of every month, and maybe we want to do this for 10 months. Do we want it as a PDF or an Excel to those people? Who's it from? Subjects. And then we can say whether we want it to be notified on air, or do you want to be notified every time this email goes out? So you can get those monitoring tools. And we also log all the emails as they go out, so you can actually log back in and see who it went to and was it successful and things like that. So that's all we need to do. I'm going to click Save. And what it's going to do is, there it is there. It's scheduled my report. And every month on the 17th, it's going to have my March report. And it will go out to all those people in that Dean's group, one at a time. So easy delivery of information, that's what FAST is all about. Getting the data consistent and the way you want it. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Pete.
What have we learned and built from 45 plus customers over 20 plus years? We've learned that reporting is an evolution that needs to be built from a strong, flexible base. It must be accessible by all those who need it. And if you want to have all those who need it, if you want to have a strong user buy-in to your solution. The reports need to be interactive and be able to grow as people's questions change from the basic needs of everyday workflow into the what if and I wonder why questions that will eventually come as your reporting solution evolves. This will allow your organization to start with the basics of day-to-day production reporting and evolve into executive level dashboarding and cross-discipline sharing of data that will allow your organization to drive itself confidently into the future. FAST provides the reporting base and gives you a running start with all of the pre-built content and the extensive data warehouses that are made available to you. So what is involved, or what comes with the FAST reporting or the FAST solution suite? We have a full suite of reports for cross-discipline, so finance, student, human resources, and financial aid. Each one of those is going to come with its own data warehouse and pre-built set of reports. We also have some data entry applications as well. Budget and forecasting, which integrates very closely with our finance reporting application, web-based requisitioning, journal vouchers, purchasing card, research admin, and non-tuition accounts receivable. If you decide to go with our solution, it doesn't become another IT project. We will take care of everything for you if that is the desired plan of attack. We'll install it remotely into your test site, and once you're happy with it, we'll migrate it into a production set for you. We'll build business rules that we will co-develop with you to customize any of the pre-delivered reports to make sure that they're working properly for your organization. We'll help you with testing and training, and continue to do this as you migrate from one version of our application into the next. If you go with the FAST application suites, you will get 2 site-wide licenses, so you can have as many end users as you want for any of the applications that you purchase from us. So we don't do a seat license, we actually do a site license. So FAST, it is easy to get started. If you're interested, I'd be more than happy to schedule a personalized demonstration for you. We can even arrange to come on site and do a demo for you and your colleagues using your own banner data. There's contact information there for you. You can go to our website, or you can email us at questions@mcsl.com, and we'd be happy to answer any of those for you. I'd like to turn it over to questions now. If anybody has any, feel free to type them into the questions section of your interface there, and we will deal with the questions as they come in.
Okay, Pete, there was one question that was asked a little bit earlier, and somebody said, we've got some customizations in Banner, so how is that dealt with?
All right, so the question was customizations in banners. We've run into this quite a bit. Banner does allow you, or doesn't allow you to, but lots of people do create their own customizations, whether that is just tweaking a banner table or maybe implementing a new form with a brand new table. We have the ability to augment, in any of our warehouses, we have the ability to augment any individual step or set of steps to populate our warehouse tables. We can easily tweak our warehouse routine, our data mapping routine, to deal with any changes that you have made to the baseline banner tables. If you've added new banner tables, we can then use our custom warehouse builder to augment the baseline warehouse solution to bring in any of that information that you might be looking for.
All right, we've got one more here that just came in. Is this a cloud-based solution, or how does that work?
That's a great question. The SaaS can be run in either way. It can be used as an on-premise solution or in a cloud-based solution. Primarily, most of our clients go with an on-premise solution, so we would install FAST onto your servers and it would interact with your data there. But if you wish, we can install it into a cloud-based infrastructure, something like AWS, and run it there and connect to your Banner instance from that cloud-based solution and populate our warehouses and then just run the reporting from there. So I guess the question is both. It can be an on-premise or it can be a cloud-based solution, whatever best meets the needs for your current infrastructure.
All right, I see one more there. If anybody else has any other questions, do feel free to type them in. One other question here, it says, is there a trial version of the software?
There's not a trial version of the software running up on a website anywhere, but it is very easy for us. Like I mentioned before, it's a very easy install for us. We can typically install our solution in a day and get the refreshes and stuff working. So we do offer the opportunity to either get a VM image, or if you're not running any sort of virtualization software, we can ship you a machine that you could plug into your server room, and we will give you a free month trial of our software, and you guys can play with it. We'll help you configure it. You'll have full access to our support line as well, so you get a feeling for how that will work. And try the software from there. So we don't have a pre-built trial. We think a trial is more meaningful if your end users are actually looking at their own data. So we do trials, but it's going to be installed on your own site or in the cloud infrastructure that's pointing at your own software. That will conclude our presentation for the day. Thank you all very much for attending. We appreciate your time. We know you're all busy. We appreciate you taking the time out to listen to us talk about our solution. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.